אך הנה זהו שייך דווקא בחסד אצילוס, הנקרא חסד זעיר אנפין. However, this is specifically an idea that's connected with the kindness in Atzilus that's called the kindness of Zot. אבל בחיnas umidas v'ra'av chesed. But the concept and the attribute of great kindness, shu Inyan, erech hapayim u'gedol chesed, which is the concept of length of countenance and great kindness, shezeu chesed shelamayla ma'atzilus, that's the kindness beyond Atzilus. In shaykh chas v'shalom lomar sha'chesed nimshach al derech hanal. So you can't say that the kindness is drawn down in that way, but the kindness is it's coming from his exaltedness. The concept of that to his greatness there is no measure or searching for its end. So while the lower chesed comes from she'aris nachalaso, from humility, this kindness comes from exaltedness. V'yuven ze al derech mashal, and you can understand this allegorically. Shegam lamata anu roim bechinas rav chesed, that also below we see this concept of great kindness. Aval hu ba mimida hofchis legamrei, but it comes from an exact opposite attribute. Mimidos hashiflus v'ashirayim manal, from these attributes of humility and lowliness, to be leftovers that we spoke of. Ela adarabba, but exactly the opposite. Machmas midas hagdula, and it comes from the attribute of a person's greatness. V'hu kashera adam nis'ala bebechinas hagdula v'hais nasus mirov kol, and this is when a person is elevated and exalted more than all. Ba'osher gadol b'kesav izav l'rov, with riches and great amounts and the great riches of silver and gold, ve'rechush rav, and much property, bli shiur umida mugbelas klal chulu, without any measure or boundary at all. As ayihiyat gemut teva benavshor gam kein lashpir rav tov v'chesed lekol abrios, then it'll also be in his nature to give a lot of good and kindness to all the creations, kekaton kegadol, great and small, b'mida bilti mugbeles, in an attribute that's without boundary, klal, k'mo hamelech hagadol osar, or like a great king or a minister, v'osher muflag nidivus levavam hu beharchavav gedol me'od, and the riches of the greatness of what they're giving and giving out in their heart, it's in a expansive, great expansiveness, very much so. Lefi erech gdulas, comparable to their greatness. Lefi erech gdulas harav davka, specifically to how great they are. Shahari lefi erech gdulaso shel hamelech ken yarchiv yad shifo l'roch shvelim ki al hamelech, that in accordance with the greatness of the king, so too he'll give more with his hand and flow to the lowly of spirit, like the hand of the king. V'akatan mimenu be'erech gedula lo yarchiv yado kol kach, but someone who's smaller in comparison in greatness will not give such a breadth from his hand as much. Because the greatness is a concept of exaltedness and being lifted up in oneself, as a great existence, and in comparison to how great they are, that in comparison to the riches and the property, that it's great. So that's incomparably, that's how he will spread out this riches from him outward. With a very great expansiveness, because it doesn't affect him at all. The kolo chashivi kol ha'olam lagabe gdulas hatzmuso, that the whole world is incomparable to his greatness. Al ken lo yargish ledavar ma mash mashpia gam shu nechshav riboy tov v'chesed gadol. Therefore, he doesn't feel it, doesn't affect him, this fact that he's giving so much. And even though it actually is considered a tremendous amount of great good, legabe hamakablim, to those who are receiving it. Like, for example, the great ministers on their chariots of horses that give out gifts or throw money to the crowds or whatever. And the like, that it's like leftovers and things that fall from them, in comparison to their necessary spending. But in comparison to those small people, it's considered a great kindness, and a great flow, much more than their needs. And like whatever that is. And that's in comparison to the greatness. And in comparison to how great the person is, so too the flow is that comes from them is incomparable to them. And look in the siddur on this idea as well of long countenance and great kindness. And so too, they won't scrutinize between someone who's fitting and someone who's not fitting. And the small and the great are equalized truly. Because in comparison to this greatness, the small and the great and the small are equal in comparison, which is not the case if they're not as great. The greater people have more of a comparison to him, and then will give flow in accordance with their worth. The great according to their greatness, and the small according to their size. But in comparison to the exaltedness of greatness, that in comparison with which everything is not, the kindness to the rich is in the same measure as the small to the poor. Equally, and from this reason he will not scrutinize between the good and the bad equally. For example, in the time of joy of a person, in the marriage of their son and the like, that their heart is exalted within themselves, they'll give good to all equally. And he wants that everyone should enjoy the great and the small, the good and the bad, truly equally. Look what it says about how we were slaves to Paro in Egypt, and the idea of how the spider in the palace of the king is able to grasp. And the allegory for this you can understand above. That in the infinite light may be blessed, you cannot say that he's giving good and kindness only because of his greatness that has no end, and that it's the nature of good to give good, Kel Hayom, and to give the kindness, divine kindness, the whole day. Hu chesed ein kates v'tachlis. that his kindness is without end or measure. Lechasto atov, to his great goodness, ulahachios nivraim hubaligvul, to enliven creations and those within boundary, lashpia tuvo lashvelim, to give his goodness to the lowly, ulahachios lev nidkaim, and to enliven the hearts of the broken. So I guess that's why he does it, because he's so high, so he gives all this good. So Inyan v'rav chesed, and that's the concept of the great kindness, that it comes from Romamus. V'ayin b'torah or b'dibur hamaskil v'ayi b'shalach paro. V'zeu Inyan asher chesed nikra gedula, and that's the concept that the kindness is called greatness. Tainu b'chinas v'rav chesed, that is the concept of great kindness. Shuhu anim shech mi b'chinas v'ligdula so ein cheker ukanal, that it comes from the concept of that there is no end to his greatness, to his gdula. Mash ein ken b'atzilus nikra chesed v'lo gdula chulu, which is not the case in atzilus. It's called kindness and not gedula. V'ayin mash because of minyan v'rav chesed b'torah or dibur hamaskil v'ahi b'shalach paro. And look about this idea of great kindness in Torah, or about how Paro sent Kitzer. So we said in short, ha'afresh bin chesed l'gdula, the difference between kindness and greatness, Shabbat Tzilus Nikra Chesed, Ulamayla Matzilus Nikra Gedula, that in Atzilus it's called kindness, and above Atzilus it's called Gedula. Ki Chesed Yuvan al Derech Chesed Avraham, because kindness we can understand as the concept of kindness to Avraham, Shinimshach Mitzad HaBittul, which comes from the humility, Vanochi Afar Va'efer, and I am dust and ashes, Ulechein Nikra Chesed Zuta. Therefore it's called the small kindness, Hainu Shabbat Mitzad Shukat Beinav, that it comes because he's small in his eyes. V'nechshav Lelo Klum Beinei Atzmo, and he's not considered great in his own eyes. And similarly, you can understand the concept of the kindness of attributes of Atzilus. That's called the chesed of what? Of bittul. Sfiros plima. That these attributes were emanated to a great confinement, a great simsum. And therefore, in comparison to what's beyond Atzilus, they're in a state of nullification. But the concept of great kindness, from before this confinement, comes from the concept of greatness, that there's no searching for the end of this greatness. And you can understand this allegorically, of the kindness of the king. Rav Hiad HaMelech, like it says, great, like the hand of the king. In Malchus Rav, like from Megillah Esther.